Okay, guys, so in today's video, we're going to go over some random things I've heard this week, see if any of them make sense to you or stand out. The first little small theory I've heard is that Thanos is actually retired after he did the snap. The Russo brothers have come out and said he did the snap, he's retired, he's on his farm, he's fat and happy, he's good to go. But this doesn't make sense because Thanos is going to be in the movie. So, one thing I heard this week is that possibly what the Avengers are going to have to do is go back and fight Thanos of the 2012 Avengers, the original Avengers movie. The Avengers are going to have to go back and fight that Thanos, who will have armor. It looks like he's going to have a double-bladed sword. That sword's been featured prominently in lots of advertising, pretty much every toy. Where you see a Thanos, you're going to see the double-bladed sword. So that's going to feature prominently somehow in the movie. Obviously, if you go back in time, he doesn't have the gauntlet, so he's got to have some kind of weapon or protection, and that appears that it's going to be this sword. This would make sense because you'd have the original Avengers going back to fight in the battle they were in previously, and then they'd have new technology that they could go back. Tony Stark's obviously going to have the latest suit, and maybe Thor might have Stormbreaker. You never know. So that theory is interesting. Maybe flesh that out if you guys think of anything else. If you guys think that's interesting, just let me know in the comments below. Moving on to Spider-Man Far From Home. So, one thing I have heard this week I think is really interesting is that possibly Nick Fury might not be Nick Fury in this movie. So we've seen several villains in this movie. We've seen Mysterio, we've seen the Elementals, but I feel like there's more to this. I feel like we're not being given the full scale of what's going on in this movie. So I saw this theory on a video the other day. The basics of it are that so far all we've seen are all the Spider-Man villains, but we have not seen the Chameleon. So perhaps the Chameleon is actually acting like he's Nick Fury to try to lure Spider-Man in to, basically this plot between him and Mysterio. I did think it was odd Fury decided to put the sleep dart in Ned. Something that seems a little out of the ordinary for Fury. He hasn't done that in the past when he's approached the Avengers. But I will say with Ned, Ned said in the past that he does have trouble keeping secrets. So that does not surprise me. Something does just seem a little different, maybe seedy or different about this version of Nick Fury. He also mentions in the trailer it's his first time to meet Spider-Man, which is interesting. So apparently they don't meet in Endgame, or the events of Endgame are erased. I don't know. So Chameleon and Mysterio could be working together possibly. One thing I hope they don't drop the Vulture and Scorpion angle that they teased at the end of Homecoming. I thought that was really good, and they kicked that off. So I think there's more to that. Do you guys think the trailer is hiding something from us? Possibly. So the Chameleon was created by Stan Lee and artist Steve Ditko. It first appeared in The Amazing Spider-Man #1 in March of 1963. He was the first member of the Spider-Man's Rogues Gallery, so he's pretty high up there. Excluding the burglar who murdered Ben Parker. He's also well known to be related to Kraven the Hunter. Their revealed relationship helped evolve him as a major villain compared to his original depiction of just being a solo villain in the issue of Amazing Spider-Man. So this is something interesting here as I read this and I kind of go through this. It seems like the Chameleon's pretty prominent, and the fact that we haven't seen him in the trailer, something's going on there. And also the fact that we're kind of getting a little bit of hint of Ben Parker in this trailer. We did see BFP, Benjamin Franklin Parker, on the suitcase. So they could do a little bit of retcon, or not necessarily retcon, but they could go back in the past and tie some things together. Maybe one of these villains had something to do with Ben Parker's death, and they're going to tie that together and use that as motivation, extra motivation for Spider-Man. Most of Spider-Man's major villains have appeared in live action since the 2002 Spider-Man, but the Chameleon has not. So he has the honor of being the very first supervillain Peter Parker ever fought back in Amazing Spider-Man #1. So like I said, he's a prominent villain, guys. It's not just he's not going to be a low-level villain, which leads me to believe he is scheming. He could be the main villain in this movie, him and Mysterio together. Now, actor Newman Akar has been cast in Spider-Man Far From Home. We don't know what he's going to be doing. He's just a mysterious character. Could he be the Chameleon? Akar was most recently in 2017 TV series Prison Break. You may remember that. And he's also been just recently in Jack Ryan last year, the TV series. So, guys, I feel like Marvel, Sony is playing with us a bit on this one. The Elementals are usually just Doctor Strange villains. They're not the brain trust behind all this. And I don't feel like Mysterio's in this alone. I feel like Mac Gargan, the Scorpion, has to be in this somehow along with the Chameleon and maybe Mysterio. Let me know your thoughts on this. Hit the bell notification, subscribe, give me a like. Tell me what you think of the video, and we will have more coming up soon. Thank you so much, guys.